Welcome back to Generation Z, guys. Today, our topic is going to be
freedom.
Freedom. And why did we want to talk about freedom today, Og?
Well, a lot has happened in the last week. A week ago, specifically, exactly a week ago on Wednesday, January 23rd, the new interim president of Venezuela was selected. If you guys didn't know, all of us have Venezuelan blood in us.
Yes,
we have
our
Venezuelan
dad is
and Colombian
100%
blood.
Venezuelan.
Mm-hmm. I personally was born in Caracas, Venezuela. But Van and Pam were born in Miami. That doesn't mean that they're not as Venezuelan. Like, we're all equally as Venezuelan. We have that Venezuelan blood in us. We have the human blood in us, regardless of whether we're Venezuelan or not. And it's just incredible, amazing what's going on right now, because they just got a real legitimate president in Venezuela elected until they have re-elections. The last couple of years, since 2017, there was an illegitimate president elected into office.
A monster, which we're not going to talk about
Which we're not even going to mention his name.
We don't even want to mention him.
We don't even want to mention his name. We just want to basically
It's not
talk
about
more
him.
about the change that's going on over there. And finally, the people of Venezuela getting even the smallest bit of light of hope towards like real and true freedom, which is why we want to talk about freedom today.
Yes.
Yeah. We thought about it, and we were just really they went to the walk, the walk here in Hollywood.
It wasn't a walk. It was like it was just everyone showing support. It was in downtown, not downtown.
All the Venezuelans.
It was in the Hollywood Walk of Fame or whatever.
Yeah.
It was amazing. It was so beautiful seeing everyone come together. It's so crazy to see how many people that are Venezuelan live in such like a small area. Because where we used to live, Miami, you see more of just like Spanish people everywhere. You hear Venezuelan accent and it's like normal. But the fact that we like got there and we saw so many of like, it just felt like we were with all of our family. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah.
It was like the first time I saw or met any Venezuelan here in Los Angeles. So it was
Yeah.
cool seeing how many people actually live here.
And Van was
Yeah.
there in spirit, too.
A
Van
lot
was
of
there in
Venezuelans.
Van wanted
I
to be
was
there,
there
but she
in
was there in
spirit.
spirit.
I really wanted to be there. Pam said she saw a lot of like famous Venezuelans too.
Yeah, there was like artists,
crazy.
like people, not like anyone too big. Oh, there was like Miss Universe, this Venezuelan
Yeah, who
girl
was it,
who won
Mama?
Miss
Who was it
Uni-
that was there?
Alicia Machado.
Alicia Machado. Yeah, she was there. She was, what was she, Miss Venezuela, Miss Universe? She was Miss Universe, yeah.
Yeah, but
so
she won for Miss Venezuela.
a while
Exactly.
ago. A while ago.
A lot of different
She
people.
does not like Trump.
A lot of different people came out to support. It was great. It was amazing. It was
was
so
really
beautiful,
cool.
too, because so many people were singing songs, and everybody was having such a good time, and you could just tell how much hope and, like, love was in all the eyes of every single Venezuelan there, both sides of the street. And this was the same street that occupies the Chinese theater. Both sides of the street eventually filled up with Venezuelans, and it was just so cool to watch. Even after the event was over, there were still Venezuelans there partying, having
And
fun.
it really showed like the essence of Venezuela too, because nobody was sitting there like sad. I mean, obviously who's gonna be
Nobody.
sad, but it was just like everyone was like partying. There was people with music and like guitars, and people were dancing. Like, it was cool. It was awesome. I was like, this is what
And
our
it
country's
made
about.
us reflect a lot on
Yeah.
our freedom and how sometimes we take our freedom for granted. Like, just the fact that we can wake up every morning and eat something, eat what we desire, or cook ourselves what we desire, or just be able to go outside and go to the beach. The other day I was talking to my dad, and I was like, well, do the people because my dad's always talking about how beautiful the beaches are in Venezuela. And I was like, well, people could still go to the beach, right? Like, even though communism is like, a plague, people can still go to the beach, right? And he's like, no, Vanessa. Like, I mean, because I was thinking about nature, and like nothing can kill nature. You know what I mean?
Take it the way it's beauty.
But at that point, it's so unsafe to even be outside, he was saying, and it was just it's so, getting places is so hard, and it's not the same. You can't just go and enjoy the beach the way it is. And
Do you know what the monthly wage is in Venezuela?
No, how much?
$7 a month for the average Venezuelan. They make $7 a month.
Insane.
That's
So
insane.
they can't even buy like a meal at McDonald's. Like here. Like what it would cost a meal from McDonald's here, they can't buy that with 1 month of salary.
I wonder
And
how
that's
we
not
would
freedom.
react
That's not freedom.
if
Are
that
you
was
kidding me?
if that was us. Like,
that's like being in a cage.
yeah.
It is. And here's the thing is that people that have stepped out and protested in the last 2 years have been gunned down in the streets. They just don't have, like, they don't even have the freedom of speech to be able to be the opposition for the government that was set in there before. So it's very, very like, it's inhumane. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It got me thinking, got the whole fam thinking. You know, like, we do in a way take freedom for granted. We are very grateful for everything that happens, but we've never even been in that position.
Never.
To even
And I
like
could-
feel what it's like to
Yeah.
not
can't
be
even
able to go
imagine.
to not be able to buy the food that you need to survive, to not be
They
able
don't
to.
need, like eggs and milk is like scarce.
Individuality is stripped away from you. It's just
It's
it's
like
not
being
right.
in jail.
It's
literally
it
like being
is.
in jail.
And there's a lot of places in the world that are like this, and it's not just Venezuela. It's North Korea, it's Cuba, which the illegitimate leaders of Venezuela before basically modeled their government after the government, like Cuba's government. It's a lot of different countries that have this problem where communism has infested their government and their overall the energy and the vibe that there is out there in the world. And we're not here to talk about communism. We're here to
We
talk
are
about
not here to
freedom.
talk about politics today
At
in
all.
general.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Wait, hold on.
Yes, it's about liberty.
It's about liberty. It's about basic human right. Go ahead, man.
I want to read a little comment while we like go through this podcast. Is underscore Anna underscore 47 said, "That's dope, Vane. Don't take your freedom for granted." And then she said, "People are suffering and dying because hospitals don't have medicines or supplies. Kids are dying because there's no food. Thank you for supporting. You guys are the best."
They're
It's
they're even
crazy.
dying of diseases that were eradicated here, like in the United States, like in first world countries, very well like populated countries that have the medicine to be able to combat and the vaccines to be able to combat these diseases. People in Venezuela are dying of polio. They're dying of diseases that are now they don't even like. There's no case in decades where people have died of the diseases that they're dying in Venezuela. They haven't had that kind of stuff here in the United States. They haven't had that kind of stuff anywhere that at least any place that we've been to. You know what I mean? It's like it's a complete different world out there, and it's something that I feel needs to be talked about and just
For
has
sure.
to have some sort of awareness towards it. You know?
And but even though they have been stripped of their freedom, I feel like the most beautiful part is that they're still using their freedom to get out of it, and they're the strongest and most ambitious group of people. You see them on the streets. It's honestly scary, the videos that you see, all the screaming and all the crazy. It's beautiful, but it's really scary, but most of all beautiful because they are using their freedom, like that freedom of being able to step outside and fight for their lives and for the safety and the beauty of Venezuela, because all they want back is their beautiful Venezuela, which was stripped away. But
And just
they're
for your
gonna get
information-
back. Let's
Yeah,
get
exactly.
positive now.
Yeah,
For
this
your
is amazing.
information.
And just for your information, there's so much hope in Venezuela because the people know just how valuable the people and the actual land is. Venezuela sits on the largest like deposit of petroleum, I feel, in the entire world. I think that's almost a statistical proven fact that there's so much petroleum that the ground in Venezuela, the land in Venezuela is so rich that alone they could make quantum leaps in economic growth than they like a million times what they've been able to achieve in the last 20 years, because it's been 20 years of this loss of freedom for these people. These people have been in a 20-year nightmare, in other words, and there's so much hope now because now that there's an actual government in place, this country is made to be great. It's made to be economically sound, and it's made to be an amazing place, beautiful.
It's such a
People
beautiful
and
country.
land. It is.
Yeah, and the people, like, why do they have to be them?
It's
No.
okay.
Everybody's
We're here to
beautiful.
talk about the positives.
Exactly.
And freedom and what freedom means to us. And we wanted to veer. Obviously, the reason why we're talking about freedom is that, but we didn't really want to focus too much on politics. That's never what we want our focus to be about.
But we
Even
couldn't
though
help but-
Augustine did
yeah.
do his research, though. Og knows pretty much everything because Og is our Venezuelan brother.
He is the Venezuelan. But
We are Venezuelan. Like we are all Venezuelan, but Og is the Venezuelan.
he was actually
And my
born
dad
there.
and my dad too.
Well, yeah.
My dad always stresses
obviously.
a lot about identity and like ancestry and like blood and DNA.
Yeah.
DNA is the biggest thing he talks
But
about.
Og sometimes will whip out a little Venezuelan accent here and there.
No, never.
keep-
He whips
yes,
out
he
like-
does.
He whips out like
Yes, he
Puerto
does.
Rican accents.
Because I
out
hung
of
out
the
with a
blue.
lot of Puerto Ricans and
Out of
Dominicans
the
back in
blue.
New York. So
It's
Out of the
so
blue,
funny.
his Spanish will turn Puerto Rican all of a sudden. We're not even Puerto Rican. Like, but
But
Well,
yeah,
we-
like you said, we don't want to stick on the.
we don't. We want to
Politics,
stick
but-
on just freedom. What does freedom mean to you guys?
yeah, we want you guys to be just part of the show as you are a part of every other show. We always, if this is your first time tuning in, we always bring the audience into the show. You guys can comment all you want on Vans Live. So
Freedom!
Yeah.
Oh, and also
Freedom!
back to the Venezuela thing.
Freedom!
We are coming out with a Venezuela video and a little bit of a vlog that we did the day that we went to the Hollywood Walk of Fame or Stars or whatever.
The
when is
Chinese
the video
theater.
going to be out so they can know when to go
It'll
watch
be out
it?
this Sunday. It'll be out this Sunday. It's kind of the
This
same.
Sunday.
It's gonna be the same vibe that we have here on the radio show, which is just like awareness, spreading that kind of positivity, that kind of message of what's going on in the world for people that don't know.
Which is
maybe
good
shining
because
a
a lot
little
of people
light.
don't know.
Yeah, a lot of people don't
And
know.
we're gonna make a good video for like millennials, the youth, everyone to understand, so that you kind of get like a gist of what's
Guys,
going
we're
on.
all together in this world, whether you're Venezuelan or not. Like, if you just hear the situation out there, strip away the fact that they're Venezuelan. It's like basic human right issues are completely have been stomped over, and like this is like a new door that's being opened up for these people, a freedom that they haven't seen for years, that a lot of kids our age have never seen. You know, it's crazy to think about, and we want to encourage that it doesn't matter what kind of obstruction of justice and freedom that you have out there, whether it's this situation in Colombia or whether it's another situation that might be not as big, but it's still like an obstruction of justice and freedom that you can fight towards and you can push it, because at the end of the day, I feel like those Venezuelans, they didn't lose hope about what's going on in Venezuela. Nobody should lose hope in general, in any place, in any country, in any environment, in any relationship, in any kind of situation, you know?
What does freedom mean to you guys?
Scrawny_Ronnie. I really hope I'm saying that.
You guys, before we get into
Oh, you got yeah.
I believe it's just being free, doing and saying what you love, doing what you love, feeling like you have no like restraint.
For me, the utmost,
But never hurting. Like doing what you love, but not hurting. Because maybe like someone wants to say that they like hurting, but like that's not freedom.
Oh, what about you?
No, you answer for it. I just talked for like a minute
to me-
straight.
Freedom's such a weird word to define.
I know. Well, it means something different to everyone. It's not, I'm not saying tell me the dictionary definition of freedom.
I just think of freedom being
is
free and doing what I
But what does
do.
freedom mean to? Yeah, freedom is doing. For me, I think being free is being free of my mind. Like literally being free of my thoughts. Being able to wake up every morning and not let my thoughts consume me or the negativity consume me, and feeling free to me is feeling like no worries. Like nothing is holding me back from my happiness. That is my freedom, and I think that the only thing that holds me back from my happiness really can only be my mind, because we live in such a free place. We live in such a free place. I mean, other than even these people in this country, they had a choice too. They either play the victim of I know it sounds like a little rough, but like of the situation, or you make the best out of it and you can declare being free in your world, you know, because it's at the end of the day, it's literally just your universe and you create it. You either cry about what's happening in your life or you
do something about it. Fight or flight. Fight or flight. You can deal with it and be a victim of the situation, or you can push towards it and fight for whatever it is that you want to fight for.
Yeah.
My definition of freedom is the same thing.
Okay. Same thing.
I mean, it's just, I think that every person has a basic human right, as long as you're not directly affecting in a negative way another person's life, you should be able to do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yes.
Career, hobby, doesn't matter. You know, you have a basic human right to do that. And I feel, there's a lot of institutions that have a different definition of freedom, but it's all the same kind of energy. It's all the same kind of vibe. It's being able to do what you love through love, and not being held back by absolutely anything, and not allowing anything to hold you back by absolutely anything. Because a lot of the times, and I'm not talking about the situation in Venezuela, like government controlling other people, but you can live in a place where the government has no real, like, they're not obstructing your justice or your freedom, right? But you are allowing yourself to be a slave of anything, like Van said, your mind.
A job that you
or
don't like.
A job you don't like. Or a relationship when you're
A
with somebody that you feel you can't get out of that relationship or out of that kind of interaction. It's all, dude, every person has a decision. Even the people in Venezuela and even the
them.
people in Venezuela,
That's what I mean
they
to
all
say,
left Venezuela because they didn't want to stay there.
Yeah.
You know? So.
But even if they couldn't, I feel like you can still create your universe. I feel like we can be in this country, and regardless about the way you feel about the president, if you choose to focus on the things that you hate, you're just going to keep seeing more of the things that you hate.
Exactly.
If you focus on the things that you love and the things that make you feel free, you'll see more of that.
How many Venezuelans have you met, or Cubans have you met, that their parents or them left? They left that country because they couldn't do it anymore.
So many.
Right? So many,
I can't
right?
even count.
Do
I mean,
something
almost
about
every
it.
other person that you meet has a family member or they themselves left because they didn't want to do it anymore. They didn't want to put up with it anymore.
Yeah.
They knew that if they left, they'd have the opportunity for real freedom, even if it's in a country where they don't have citizenship.
Right.
They have more freedom in a country where they don't have citizenship than in a country that they do have citizenship, where they were born in, you know?
Yeah.
Scrawny _ Ronnie. So
Ronnie.
Scrawny Ronnie, love that name. Said freedom is doing what you want without putting limits on yourself just because of other people's thoughts or feelings.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Downtown.
Other people. He brought in other people.
A slave to your mind.
Yeah.
If you let somebody else's ideals or ideas get in your head, you're gonna be a slave to your mind,
Right.
or even a slave to them. But even if they don't know that you're a slave to them, you're a slave to their mind.
They're
You're
the
a slave to
ones-
your mind.
They're the ones putting themselves into your world. Just ignore them.
Exactly.
Downtown.alley said freedom is the absolute bliss and happiness in yourself. No fear in life, but just absolute love for life and around you.
Yeah.
Life in and around you.
That is the key word.
Yes.
Love.
Mm-hmm.
That's so true, man.
Love.
Downtown
Literally.
Alley. Love
Choose
you, girl.
Love you, Downtown Alley.
Love you, Downtown Alley.
I might quote that.
I know, I've
Screenshot
seen-
that. That was really good.
Alley.
Yes.
Yeah, screenshot it.
Screenshot that.
Love
I
that.
might use that in the Venezuela vid, honestly. That would be awesome.
What is this? El momento donde se han sentido más libres.
The moment you feel most free.
Sí.
My mom
El
said,
momento
yeah.
donde se han sentido más libres. The times in which you guys have felt the most free.
There's a-
Dancing, obviously.
Yeah.
Dancing, 100%.
Free, I would say just like, yeah, when you're doing what you love.
Yeah.
And it feels,
But
Right.
really think about it, though.
yeah, when you're doing what you love. Or when you've gotten everything done.
I feel that a lot in nature.
Like when you've accomplished your errand list.
I feel that a lot
Bingo.
in nature, right? Like when you guys
Swimming.
are like hiking or swimming.
Swimming in the
other
ocean.
day,
You know what I mean?
I
You
was
get,
swimming in the
you get
ocean.
stripped of anything. Like who
Tanning.
cares of everything that's
Yeah.
happened up until that point? Like
Yeah.
you know, you
Nature. I
Laying
think
in
Mother,
the sun.
Mother Earth has a way of doing that. A way
Yeah.
of like literally stripping away
The
your
sun
ego.
rays.
the
the
sun
sun
rays.
rays.
The other day I was
Yeah.
laying in the sun and I was like, why am I like so bliss? I wasn't picking my nails. Like I wasn't antsy. Like I was just
always
like,
tell you to lay in the sun. I am the sun layer.
it was
Sun
amazing.
layer. I don't
You
do it
do, yeah.
just to look tan, but just because it just we
Feels
need
good.
it. It's a vitamin that we need on our body. Hello.
That's true.
JNOXJ said, saludos desde Chile.
Saludos.
Saludos,
desde
chileno.
Chile.
Heard it's beautiful
How's
there.
Chile doing? Is Chile good?
Tommy
Politician
came
Og?
recently. He talked to us, right, about the situation.
We have a
out in
friend from
Chile.
Chile.
It's not. It's nowhere near.
Chile.
It's
Chile.
nowhere
What am I
near what's
saying?
going on in Venezuela. But he wants to move out here to Cali. If that kind of puts it into perspective.
Yeah.
I feel like we're very, very, very fortunate and very lucky and appreciative to be living in the situation that we live in now.
100%.
I love this country.
It's incredible.
I love America. I love the United States of America. It literally is the land of the free. We've never,
It is, man.
we don't know what, in a political freedom standpoint, we don't even know what not freedom is.
We don't know what it's
Yeah, we
like.
don't-
We don't know what it's like to like oppose the government and
Other
say that we
than-
don't like the government,
Other
and
than
then
when we
get
get pulled over.
and then get in
Crazy.
prison and then like literally get thrown in
Literally,
prison for
yeah.
it. That's what it's like in these kind of
Yeah,
those other
yeah.
places. You know what I mean? We don't know what that's like, except what you said, like when you get pulled over.
Yeah, except for when you get pulled over or when the government tries to.
Yeah, if you can't
You know.
say F the police
But
when you get
even
pulled over,
then-
that's
Even then, they're just really trying to protect you.
yeah.
They're
They
trying to
are.
make sure you're not speeding. Like, what if they're in other countries, everyone's speeding. Like, everything's
Oh my
crazy.
God,
Like,
it actually,
there's
it
no
actually is like
rules.
that. Paris is crazy.
Really? What's it like?
crazy. I mean, there is government there too, is obviously, but the streets are nuts. Like the motorcycles are, you could be in a car and it's like normal for the motorcycles, you're stopped, all the cars are stopped, to just be zooming through the cars. Like it's normal. And then like if you're driving and someone wants to go in front of you, they will go so close in front of you, like they don't even care. Yeah,
that's so funny.
It's just a bunch of like, woo, I'm going over here, woo woo. It's like woo.
I'm literally picturing like people at the window like woo, like hands out like woo, like in a movie.
That's exactly what it
Making
is.
little cartoons.
I'm not joking.
I'm
That's
picturing
what
it.
is.
Yeah, it's very different than
we don't
sure.
know what that's like.
Yeah, we don't. We definitely don't know what that's like. Hey, but at least they're relatively free out there in Paris. That's one thing.
Freedom from your ego.
They're very.
What were you saying about freedom and being a slave?
Well, that you can, that in many situations, and you know, this isn't to insult anybody, but it's just in many situations you are allowing yourself to be a slave. Mm-hmm. I don't want to sound like Kanye, because what Kanye said about like slavery didn't make any sense. But like,
It didn't make any sense.
It didn't make any sense. But like,
it didn't make any sense.
if you have it in you, if you know that it's wrong, the situation that you're in, if you know you're not 100% free, and there's something you can do about it, whether it's run away, physically do something about it, or you could do something about it, you know, like within your thoughts and in your actions, then do it. Because why, like, dude, why are you living your life like not doing what you want to do? Like that's the basic human right I was talking about. Mm-hmm. You know, like you should be able to. You should 100% be able to. There's no and if you have the power to be able to change it, do it, man. Because there's people that have in many other countries lost their lives for so that other people that either aren't born yet or that are back at home can be free. Like lives have been lost for freedom. Mm-hmm. Freedom isn't something to be taken lightly. It's something to be appreciated. And if you don't have it, it's something to fight for. Because there's nothing more liberating than a human being being free to do what it is that they please and what it is that they love. It's such a important topic, and a lot of people that have a lot of pride in their nations and a lot of pride in general of their freedom. It's a subject that hits home. Ask anybody that's ever been in a war within their own country. It's so important to them. You know, it really
taking
is.
it down more of a spiritual standpoint of freedom and your ego. Don't let the anger, the jealousy, the doubt, the fear, any of those emotions that can literally make you go crazy, don't ever let them surpass your freedom or basically take your freedom away. You could be stuck in like such a bad place and such a hole of just hate and anger, and that's not you. Always remember that where you come from, your soul
is free.
Is free, and it is love. And if you can't identify back with love in anything it is that you're doing it wrong. Go back.
Preach.
Turn around.
Preach.
Because love is the answer. Love is always the answer. And anything that isn't love is not freedom. Which is, if you're just now tuning in, freedom is the name of our show. Freedom is what we're talking about today. I don't know. I just think about it in a way where we've seen scenarios happen, like how it was last night. We had a little bit of a family argument, and the people that were being led on by their ego were not free at all. They probably felt so free using their ego to scream at each other, but that was like the last place they were in. They were in a deep, dark hole of anti-freedom.
And only bad things come when freedom isn't
in place.
Yeah.
In place.
Yeah.
And love. Freedom and love.
Freedom and love.
Always do what you say and say what you think and how you feel, but make sure that those feelings are coming from a place of love.
Yeah.
Because freedom, a lot of people also use freedom as, I have freedom to say this, and then it's completely incorrect.
It's just wrong,
Who am I to tell you, that your opinion isn't what it is? But if you take it back and just remember, is it coming from a loving place?
Love?
Is it coming from love?
I love that.
Yeah.
And some advice I think that everybody should hear. Some advice I think everybody should hear is that you shouldn't hold resentment for anybody or any establishment that takes your freedom away from you, because by doing that, you're not free from it, you know, because if you hold that resentment, you're not free from yourself. You're allowing yourself to be so angry for that person or that establishment that caused this feeling of resentment and this and taking away your freedom. You should never feel that way. You should honestly like understand them. Try to be compassionate and understand that, like, you know, they're their own human, as evil or terrible as they may be for having taken your freedom away from you. You will never be free if you don't, what's the word? It's the most simple word in the world. If you don't
surrender,
forgive them.
Oh,
Forgive them.
You gotta forgive. You gotta forget. Because then spiritually you won't be free. Isn't that true?
Mentally, yeah.
Mentally and spiritually you won't.
Your soul will not be free if you do not forgive.
That's the biggest thing. Like that's.
And it may feel so good to just let yourself be led on by your ego and just never forgive people and have too much pride. Yeah, it feels good, right? It feels good to like tell someone off, but in the long run, it doesn't feel good. It's just only momentary fake forms of happiness when you're going against
Lust.
the grain.
Yeah.
Lust.
It's not real
You just
love.
brought something up and then it made me want to talk about some form of freedom and then I forgot.
I was talking about
freedom. We wanted to talk about freedom in relationships.
Oh yeah, freedom in relationships.
yeah, that's a good one.
People feeling that they're
That's a
like
good one.
people feeling that they're bound or like a slave in a relationship that they feel they can't end.
Any type of situation, whether it's your relationship or your job or school, even school. I felt like a slave at some points. Not that I ever took my education for granted because I loved learning and I still love learning about what I want to learn about. But any type of situation, you are a flowing soul who is constantly growing, who's constantly going. You know what I mean? You're always changing. Let yourself change and let yourself really glow. Because if you're in a situation that isn't bringing you the light and it's just kind of keeping you in a dark place, give yourself that freedom. Give yourself the option of freedom to just let go of the things that don't serve you anymore. Please do it for you. Because at the end of the day, you're the only one that's going to be there when you die. You're not living for anyone else or any other thing or even your job, even that thing that you're like, but I have to. No, you don't have to do anything. You literally don't have to do anything. If your intentions are clear, your mind is in the right place, you'll be able to accomplish everything that you want. But if you're kind of like living for the things that someone else wants or doing things for the people around you or just to make other people happy, you're not free. And we're chasing freedom here. Make sure you're crushing on freedom.
Symbiosis_1991 said, if you pay attention to everything or what anyone says, then you're just a prisoner in your head because you're just focusing on negativity.
That's true.
True that. Or even sometimes it's your own head, though. Like, even sometimes it's not what other people are saying, but it's what you're saying to yourself that is incorrect.
Yeah, that's so true.
That's true.
You're not
being a
always
slave to your
right.
mind, yeah.
You're not always right, and especially when it has to do with doubt and fear, you're absolutely never right, ever.
Yeah. Fake
Doubt
news.
and fear
Fake news.
are the definition of you being a slave to your
Or
own
limitations, right.
You're setting your own limitations for you. Like, nobody else has to come and
No
like
one.
set those obstacles in front of you. You're literally allowing yourself to do that for you. It's like playing a mind game.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't make any sense. I think that that's a huge thing. I think that you bringing up fear and doubt, that's huge. Like, people don't realize that in itself is an obstruction of your freedom, that you are allowing your own mind to kind
It's
of
like
do,
the opponent,
you know?
right?
It is.
You can be in such a hole of doubt. Like, you can be in such a that obstruction of freedom. You don't even remember what freedom is.
That's what I'm saying.
And
Or
that's
you
honestly
believe that that's freedom, and it's not.
And it's not.
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make any.
Pay attention to your feelings and pay attention to your emotions. The only emotion that you should be chasing is happiness. Actually, it's not an emotion. Happiness is a state of being. It's not an emotion.
It's true.
True that.
Well, I mean, happiness can metabolize in different ways. It's just different based on perspective, really. At the end of the day,
It's all perspective.
it is. What's up, Mama?
Freedom from your emotions.
from your emotions. I mean, yeah. Like, you just said it yourself, though. How many times... Well, I'm not even going to say that because it's not that many times. But how many... I think it's for everybody that's ever had a strong following or a strong influence that you have those haters that say something. And you know, you're tough. You're one of the toughest people I know. You're one of those most fearful people I know. And you too. But it's hard sometimes to not listen to what some people have to say. And when you let that happen, you are in itself not letting yourself be free.
Yeah, you're not.
I think when you just realize that you have the choice, like you have the option behind everything, you have the option behind your happiness or your sorrows, and not those people. I think that's where you'll find it. Because a lot of times people want to point fingers at, oh, well, that person made me feel like that. Like, well, it was him. Well, it was that. No, it was you.
We were just talking about this last night.
Yeah, it was you who allowed them to get into your head. Because you are your temple. You are the one that makes the decisions to your to the ways that you feel.
Exactly.
You know?
Summer_Tumblr_life said, what if I'm studying something I love in
University?
Oh, in university, but I'm not really doing well in it, and it's bringing me down and making me feel negative.
Well, think about why you're feeling that way.
Think about
it might really be like a lot of the times, especially in school. And this is, I appreciate teachers and I appreciate the work that they do, but sometimes there's some teachers that aren't meant to be teachers. And they're not good at being able to teach somebody and have that person learn from what they're teaching. I would suggest switching courses, but like switching the teachers, because there's a lot of schools and state schools too. They have the same courses, but they have different professors and instructors. If that's how you're feeling, and you know, maybe if that's not the issue, maybe you got to look more into it.
What if it's like already in the year and you can't really switch now? Maybe change. Is it really what you love?
Yeah, that's another thing.
Is that the test that's kind of showing you that like maybe when you're in it, it's not, or is it your teacher? Like, I don't really know.
You have to see. Hello, very disrespectful. You have to see if it's actually, like Pam said, is it 100% what you love? Like, think about that. And if you are like certain, then it is. Then don't be a baby.
Yeah,
don't be a baby, because sometimes life will get hard and life will not always be rainbows and butterflies. It's the way you react to those feelings that you're feeling that matter. You know, it's the way you react to the curveballs that life throws at you that matters. Because oftentimes getting to where you love isn't always going to make you smile and laugh and feel amazing. It's not. It's not at all going to always, like, even, for example, me as a dancer, like getting to the point of absolutely being obsessed with the way that I move, and even not really ever going to get there because I feel like always room to learn. Getting to the point where it feels good, it hurts. Like, it hurts. It's not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. But it is. Like, you're always supposed to.
I don't know if I would agree with that.
You're supposed to enjoy the journey, but you're also supposed to feel pain. I think because
it's a test of your will. It's a test of how much you love it. Like, if you're not willing to die for it, is it really something you love?
Yeah.
You know, like that's how I look at it. Do you look at it like that too?
Why did you say pain though? Pain of what?
Like, sometimes I feel like pain is weakness leaving your body because we're not perfect, and I feel like pain, especially when you're learning something new, you can't just stop when you feel pain.
Yeah.
Does it hurt sometimes at the gym for you guys to do the workouts that you do? Like, it hurts.
Of course, right? Pam was dying.
But you do it anyway, though, right?
I learned how to deadlift for the first time yesterday.
You learned how to deadlift?
Yes.
You've never deadlifted before that?
Well, no.
Wow.
Because I never let my mind go past that point, and Van literally had to like give me like a pep talk.
Because she went into it going, I can't do this.
I did.
That's how she went into it.
Oh, right there. That's your mind setting yourself barriers. How are you free from your mind if you're letting yourself, like, you know, be held down?
But that's like that's the thing. It's only with that though. Like, I go into deadlifts and I see that big weight and I'm like, nope, and I turn around.
Well, how much did you deadlift?
Like 25.
It was.
On each side?
On each side with the 45.
That's 115. That's pretty good, man.
No.
That's
pretty good,
that's 95.
It was
95.
so hard to lift it, and I literally thought I couldn't do it, and then it was like, it's all fake. Like, what were you saying to me that I literally I had my music on?
Oh, you can't lift it. It's on your head.
Exactly.
You were saying some other stuff that was like really making me think.
I was telling her, like, look at her body. Like, you're definitely able to lift it. Like, you're not a twig. You're a sturdy girl. Like,
sturdy girl.
The wind cannot knock you down, and you can do it. I was saying, you physically look at yourself like you can do it. Mm-hmm. And she was like, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And that's it really hurt.
But why do you do it? You do it because you do it for the end result. Because you know the body that you want to achieve.
Exactly.
Because you know that you're going to love the body that you have when you have it.
Yeah.
So it's going to hurt.
And if anything, the pain
Van's right. Don't be a big baby. But I mean, we're not saying you're a big baby.
But this could be so much deeper than that. Like,
yeah, we don't even know the
situations. Like, there could be situations that are making you feel that way. Like, your
Analyze
teachers,
it.
like Og said, like your teachers or the
Analyze
things
it.
that you're learning. But
Yeah.
oftentimes, just make sure it's it's definitely what you love. And if it is what you love,
fight for it, man.
then
if you're
it's
sure
probably
of it.
just a class that doesn't make much sense. But it's okay. Like, we're not always going to be perfect, you know?
I love film, but I took a couple of courses back in New York City where I had some tough times with some professors, man. And they were like D-bags. Like, they were mean. And I didn't really value their opinion on the critiques that they'd have for my films, but I stuck out with it because I knew that the end result would be that I would learn something from it, even if it was like pick and choose who looks at your film and who who can give you guidance and who shouldn't. It definitely matters. Try to find the best thing out of the situation, out of whatever class that is. Try to find the best you can out of it. Like, take the best you can and then just dump whatever you don't need. You know what I mean? And fight it out, because, when the semester ends, you got a new teacher and you got brand new courses and you can pick them,
School in general can sometimes feel like hell. Like, you literally just feel like you're going to school and you're studying, and then you go on your phone and hang out with your friends and you're like, this is really living. But I feel like it's part of it too. Because it could very well be what you really, really love, and don't let the teacher or anything make you think that it isn't, if it is what you love, and vice versa.
Yeah.
That's true.
Jennifer Bales asks, how do you become confident in your own body? I love the pics and photos you guys post. You guys are always so confident. How did you get to that point? Thank you so much, first of all,
that's so
I want to
sweet.
say. And second of all, I have like a seventh of all. I'm going to have a lot of things to say about this. But second of all, just so you know, we are like professional editors. Like, our pictures, like, don't feel bad. It's true, because sometimes you'll go outside and you're like, all right, she looked like this. All right, let me go and try and, I'm inspired. Let me go try and recreate it.
It's about the lighting.
And then you get this picture with like really crappy lighting, and then you're like, what am I? Like, I'm terrible. And it's not. We're just professional editors. Our pictures go through 3 different apps. Are we going to tell them? Yes. We Facetune. We go on Lightroom, and then we go on ViscoCam. We do everything. Not that we like morph who we are, but you put different edits.
You put details.
Just so you know, I want you to know that it's not what the pictures look like. Like, this is what we look like on this video right now. So, but going back to like how we've gotten our bodies.
And going back to the confidence part of it.
Yeah, the confidence.
That, it may look also too like, got it all figured out, confidence, like, beautiful.
But for the most part, we do.
We do, but does not mean we don't have like issues with our body sometimes, or we wake up and we're like, we're not feeling it.
Yeah.
Or I think confidence is also like a learning. It's like same as self-love. Like,
let's just put it this way.
I have confidence. Yeah, I love myself, but am I at my fullest point of self-love and confidence? I think I have a lot to learn with both of those. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. And I can definitely say I've been in the position of where I hadn't loved my body. I hadn't gotten to that point of like appreciation, eternal appreciation. I definitely for now have eternal appreciation for the body that I have. Thank God. And it's because I came to terms with who I am as a little titty, big booty, sometimes a bit of big hips girl, and that's who I am. As much as I go in the gym, or whatever, I can get surgery and change myself, but that's who I am. And you have to come to terms with who you are to be able to love yourself, really.
Accept.
You have to, you literally have to just instill into your brain that is the way that you were born, and you were this.
And it's beautiful. Like, nobody messed up when they were making you. Like, everybody's beautiful in their own way. And
there's not a single human body out there.
The
that's
most
like
confident
yours.
people aren't trying to be like anyone else. They are the ones that accepted who they are, and they became free of their heads, which is what the only form of an acceptance of yourself comes from your head, because your heart, your soul loves you for who you are. You came special. You are special. Just think of yourself as a one and only, a unique, an original. A unique.
Yeah.
Yes. I would just when you said that.
Like
I said
Augustine just said, nobody looks like you.
No one looks like
no one at all.
One.
Nobody has the same figure.
Find what makes you you, and what makes you you is just like you.
And the fact that nobody looks like you.
Realize it. Nobody looks like you in this world, and then like fall in love with it, and then you will find that confidence. But the truth of the matter is that Instagram is a complete highlight of everybody's lives.
Right.
I mean, I don't even think I follow anybody that just literally takes a picture the moment they wake up in the morning and they post that on Instagram.
No.
They don't do that.
Remember that the way that you view yourself is the way that others view you. That's why you could be whatever. You might not think you're that beautiful, or I don't even know how to explain this, but if you carry yourself in a way that you love yourself.
No, you will. When you don't think that you're that beautiful, people are going to view you in that way. When you walk into the room. You could be the
prettiest girl in the world, like perfect features, whatever. And if you don't love yourself, people are going to see that in the way that you carry yourself. And like you said.
Sadly, people aren't attracted to that, because people aren't attracted to loathe. People are generally, they're attracted to love. And I just wanted to say that whatever your version of perfection is, change it to perfection is uniqueness. Perfection is in the imperfections, and it is in the 1 in a million of what you are. Perfection is not the small nose, little waist, like 5 foot blonde girl. Like, that's not perfection. Whoever put that in your head, whatever movie and social media person put that in your head. It's the movies.
It's the movies.
Guys, how many
Whoever put that in
times
your head is a liar, and your ego is a liar. Just remember that perfection is the unique thing that you are.
Exactly. How many times have you guys been in a room where there was somebody with a personality that just literally like contaminated the room because it was just so like vibrant. It was just so there, right?
Oh my God.
And they may not have been the most attractive person.
That's what I was trying to
They're
say.
never the most.
But then the most
are.
attractive person, the most attractive person in the room, right? Physically attractive, right? The most physically attractive person in the room is there, but they're not the one that's glowing the most. You ever been in a room where it's like that, where you know who the hottest person is, right? But they're sitting over there, and then the person who may be not even nearly as attractive, but they're, because of who they are and because of how they carry themselves, they just glow more. You know what I mean? You get gravitated towards them, and you see the crowd of people around them, and you see the crowd of people around that really attractive person, and then that's just evidence, right?
100%. And this is a very spiritual standpoint. This is like a mental, emotional, very like, you have to think and you have to get yourself out of this old thinking habit into this one. But another flat out one is, you want to be thin, you want to look the way you look, work for it. Work for it. Go to the gym, feel the pain of get out of the enslavement of your bed of the same routine. Do something different. Do something different. Even if you, I already go to the gym. Well, do something different. You're probably not going hard enough. Feel the pain. Feel the pain.
I think
there's
also,
no pain, no gain.
No pain, no gain.
Another big one, since we're talking about like mental things, would be speaking in affirmations. Because, I just read this girl's comment, and she wrote, right after that girl said that, she said, "How I feel every day, I'm never pleased with myself." And that comment kind of makes me a little sad, because like, you shouldn't be even speaking in those terms. If you want to change that, start saying, "I am pleased with myself. I accept who I am. I love myself," even if you don't feel it right away. But just you saying it and putting it out there is gonna attract that, because everybody wants to feel loved. Everyone wants to feel pretty. It's the basis of who we are. You know,
that's true.
And you have to tell yourself that.
Even if you don't feel like it, like even if you feel like you might be being a crazy person by telling yourself that you look gorgeous when you have a massive morning face, tell yourself that you look gorgeous.
What's that one movie that you watched? that you
I Feel
he
Pretty?
came back. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Watch
Watch that
Feel
movie.
Pretty.
Yeah.
Put a little sticker, put a little note sticker on your mirror every morning and write the 5 things that you want to better yourself in. I am beautiful, I am smart, I am worthy. And read those every morning, like read them and say them in your head every 5 seconds, like while you're going throughout your day, driving in your car in traffic, like say them to yourself.
You've got to appreciate the simple fact of being alive and being the one sperm that ran the fastest. Don't forget that. Like
That's true. We're lucky.
We're so lucky. Like every day that you get to wake up, you're lucky for being healthy
You're
and
a champion.
having eyes to see yourself. How could you take for granted the view of what you look like when some people can't even see?
I know. I was thinking about that with the whole Venezuela thing that we were talking about. Like, we're over here worrying about, like, the smallest things when people are trying to live. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
People are just
We have
trying,
to appreciate. We have to appreciate.
People
and,
are trying to live, and
yeah.
we're living.
I think a big one of confidence, too, would be appreciating what you already have because you are special.
You are so special. Free of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 minutes, guys. We got 2 minutes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's all right.
there
Just
was a
say the
good
last
comment.
one. Say the last one, then we'll sign off. We wish we could get to all of them, guys. We
I
really,
know.
like, sometimes it just, you know, we get caught up in the conversation.
Yeah,
we get caught
for
up in the show, you know? Your questions are so good that we take, like, 10 minutes on some
Someone
questions.
said, what if you haven't
sometimes.
changed after doing all of that? Then your
do you
mindset
mean?
hasn't changed. The whole
do you
purpose
mean?
of the, after doing all of that, I'm assuming, like, telling yourself things, like, all that.
Guys, there's no fakeness in love. Like, there's absolutely no fakeness in love. Like, if your intention isn't right, if you're
You're hard on yourself.
Yeah, you're way too hard on yourself.
I'm saying in general, you're too hard on yourself. Like, you are doing everything that you're doing. Start believing in the fact that you
Yeah.
are changing. You're just
Exactly.
too hard on yourself, and you're looking for reasons and reasons upon reasons. And, well, I'm already doing this. And, hey, maybe your life did change, but you're still looking for.
Your
what
head
are you
is
looking
still
for?
stuck on the fact that you weren't able to in the beginning, but you need to let go of that and focus on the fact that you are making a change, and that in itself is special, and things are going to change after that. But if you're doing it and your mind is still stuck on the fact that it didn't work in the start, then you're never
You
going to
need to get used to change.
You also have
need
to stop
be
waiting
comfortable
for
with
people to
change.
tell you that you're beautiful, that you're this, that you're that, and
You
start
know that it's
believing in it
already-
yourself, and even start saying it. And and like, to me, it's not arrogant or cocky for somebody to say I'm gorgeous, I'm hot, I'm sexy.
I love
it's
that.
Not. It's
I'm
not.
hot.
If anything, that's confidence. It's like,
Yeah.
damn, okay, that's how you feel.
I love
Maybe I
it.
feel the same way too. Like, really though, like, stop waiting on other people. Stop waiting on acceptance from other people. Stop waiting on people to tell you that you are perfect. Believe it. Why? Like, people are going to start believing that until you start believing it yourself. Like, I promise you that. Very rarely do you ever have somebody tell you something you don't know.
Right.
You know you're doing it. You just don't tell yourself that you're doing it.
Right.
That's the truth.
Right.
That really is the truth. Or you're not accepting the fact that what you're doing is, like, that freaking great. Dude, stop that. Like, that is entirely what we're talking about right now. Don't be a slave to your mind. Be free. Be loving. Like, free is the definition. Freedom is the definition of loving with no boundaries. Of acting upon love with absolutely zero boundaries.
Woo! Preach.
I love it. Well, I was going to end it with Scrapey Muscle 24.
Your scrapey muscle 24?
Said, we are all beautiful
Scrappy.
and you can do anything you set your mind.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Love that.
Keep resonating that energy. That's what we need.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Are we good with time?
We're done.
We're done? we're finito? Okay. All right, guys.
Thank you for tuning into our Venezuela South Self-Love.
Venezuelan freedom / spiritual freedom talk today.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much. This will be posted on my live right after this if you guys are just now tuning in and missed us, or it's also going to be on our YouTube channel. But we love you guys so much. Thank you for listening to
Thank you so much.
Generation Z.
Tune in next week, same time, or maybe a different time, but usually it's on Wednesdays. And yeah, we'll be coming out every single
I'm
week
Van.
with content.
Bam.
And I'm Og.
And we're Generation Z.
Z.